Start spreading the news. Mr. Sports Travel in the Empire State in front of fabled Yankee Stadium. Please donate $50 today to OperationFirstResponse.org. That's OperationFirstResponse.org. Celebrating each of the 50 states. You're going to hear wind, subway sound, people, cars, Mr. Sports Travel, wind, subway, people, cars. We're in New York, the Bronx. This is the house that Kabutu Narita built. If you look directly behind me through the wintry, leafless trees, you can see one of the signs for Yankee Stadium. This is the new Yankee Stadium. Mr. Sports Travel was also at the old Yankee Stadium to see games. So we're celebrating each of the 50 states in these videos. My most recent memory, first memory, favorite memory here in the great state of New York. And certainly the New York Yankees, the most iconic franchise. You think of New York City and you think of sports in general. So even though I'm a Red Sox fan, I got my red under here. Got a World Series 2006 jacket. That was the Cardinals and the Tigers. The Yankees did make the playoffs, but the Joe Torre team did not go to the postseason, did not go to the World Series. So let's talk about my first memory of sports here in the great state of New York. And my first memory was at the old Yankee Stadium, right about here, folks. It was the Cleveland Indians, the New York Yankees, 1999 Memorial Day weekend. Those Indian teams of 1999, very good, as were the Yankees. That was my first ever skateboarder behind me at Yankee Stadium. That was my first sports experience of seeing a game in the state of New York, 1999. Now, I grew up in Connecticut, but as you know, I played hockey growing up year-round. Was a Red Sox fan. My dad took me to Fenway. My only basically Fenway does not take me to Yankee Stadium because I was a Red Sox fan and time was very limited. So, first experience, Yankee Stadium. Most recent experience in the great state of New York was actually last night. I saw the Big East tournament and actually got a media pass. I went over and saw the second half of the ACC tournament. How about those Virginia Tech Hokies upset the Dukies? So most recent experience, college hoops, the Mecca, Madison Square Garden, Big East, and then the ACC in the second half. Favorite memory in the great state of New York? Start spreading the news, because here's the news. It was my first visit. Now let me tell you why. Because I've been here for Red Sox and Yankee games. I've seen the new stadium, the old stadium. I'm going to share Bob Shepard's story with you if I can before I finish. But I think my first visit in '99 against the Indians was so memorable because my dad had died about a month earlier. My dad was a huge Mickey Mantle fan. And I was still going through a lot of emotions at the time. You know, my dad got me into sports travel, served in the Air Force. That's why I have the American flag mobile. And it was just pretty emotional for me to be at Yankee Stadium, you know, the most iconic franchise. You know, I'm a Red Sox fan. The most iconic franchise and stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, really in the world, in my opinion, at the time. Right? It's not here anymore. They tore it down. And so, you know, to be on the field at Yankee Stadium, I had a media pass. I've been a writer since the 90s, more than 30 years now. It's like, oh my God, I'm in New York City. I made it. And then my father dying a month earlier. And I'd started this ballpark quest the year before, in '98. And by the end of '99, the Diamondbacks, the last weekend of the season against the Padres in '99, I sort of dedicated seeing the last 30 parks to my dad. So it was pretty emotional being here that first day when I saw the Indians and the Yankees, and that's probably my most memorable. But I've been blessed. I've seen the Rangers and the Islanders multiple times, both at the GOD as well as at the old Nassau Coliseum. I've been to the U.S. Open. I've been to the Armory track facility on the west side, Upper West Side. But I think the most memorable was the '99, my first visit here to Yankee Stadium. I'm going to share two Bob Shepard stories with you. Bob Shepard was the public address announcer of the Yankees. He was the public address announcer going back to Yogi and Mantle and Whitey Ford, through Derek Jeter and Tito Martinez. So the first story I'm going to share is I actually interviewed Bob Shepard in his office, which was atop the old Yankee Stadium. And he was such a humble guy. It was amazing. I wrote him a letter, before email, I wrote him a letter, and he wrote me back and said, Mr. Kana, meet me in my office before the game. And he listed the time, and he thought that the game was a night game. It was actually a day game. This was the second or third time I came back to Yankee Stadium. And I'm knocking on his door, and he's looking at me like, who the heck is this guy? And I explained to him, Mr. Shepard.
Please call me Bob.
Mr. Shepard, you had said I could interview you.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it's a day game.
So I got to interview Bob. It was a Sunday day game, 1 o'clock. About 11 o'clock, nicest guy ever. Said his strangest experience ever was, you may look at this on YouTube. I said, Mr. Shepard, he seems saying, please call me Bob. What was the craziest thing you ever saw up here? Remember, he's doing this for more than 50 years. He said the craziest thing he ever saw was when El Duque caught the ball, and he almost couldn't get blue. He couldn't get the ball out of his glove, so he threw the glove to Tino Martinez. And Bob Shepard said that was the craziest thing he'd ever seen. So if you look that play up on YouTube, El Duque throws his glove at Tino Martinez. That's Bob Shepard, the late Bob Shepard's craziest thing he said he ever saw. My second Bob Shepard story, this was I think the last game I saw at the old Yankee Stadium. It was August 3rd, 2006. How could I remember this date? Because it was the hottest day ever probably recorded in the city of New York or in the Bronx. So every couple of innings, Bob Shepard is announcing to the fans, because it was so hot, it was a day game, it was a businessman special for Thursday. And you can hear the subway. Bob Shepard goes,
Ladies and gentlemen, please drink plenty of water.
and if you know Bob Shepard, we would enunciate words, Derek. Cheetah, number 2.
Please drink plenty of water.
So the Yankees, to their credit, it was so hot that day, had set up all these water stations around the stadium, the old stadium. And every couple innings, in addition to
Now that
Bob Shepard had,
please drink plenty of water.
so I have so many memories here in the great state of New York, not just in the city, but even upstate, college hockey, Lake Placid. I could be here forever, but I wanted to share those 2 Bob Shepard stories with you now that we're at the new Yankee Stadium. So, gave you my first, gave you my favorite, gave you my most recent. Boy, you can hear that subway, you can hear the wind. Hopefully that photo bomb, hopefully you can hear it. That's okay. Series here. This has been the Empire State video in front of current Yankee Stadium. Now you can see the flags up there. We're in winter time here. And the stadium is also used for soccer. In fact, there was a soccer game here yesterday, and I don't know how anyone in their right mind would have wanted to see a soccer game yesterday. It was like a blizzard here. Not blizzard, but like 50, 60. It was a bomb cyclone, that's what they call it.
A bomb cyclone.
Mr. Sports Travel was indoors yesterday. Big East ACC tournament. So hope you've enjoyed the Empire State video. Start spreading the news. See my other videos. Follow me on social media at mrsportstravel.com. Please donate $50 today to OperationFirstResponse.org, and in doing so, I will help you or someone you designate plan their next sports road. Over and out from the Bronx.